This is kind of a big day. I'm going to show you guys the Z400 before the finale video is out. Let me turn the dirt bike off real quick. This is warming it up. I'm doing the first oil change on it. Way overdue. I think we've got 12.6 hours on it. Way overdue. Every time I go to change the oil out, somebody either invites me to ride or it's like, I want to go ride, and I just do it. It's kind of weird. You actually have to take the skid plate off to get to the drain bolt, which I think is a little bit weird. I'm guessing that's like a universal skid plate that Kawasaki makes, because they make holes there, like that elongated hole for the drain bolt, but it doesn't line up. So, I mean, 4 bolts, not that big of a deal, just a little surprising. We'll drop that oil in just a second, but real quick, oh, there it is. Oh, can't show you too much because the finale video, part 2, isn't out just yet, and that's when really the reveal is. But you guys will get to see it in this video. I'm not going to do like a showcasing. There'll be some close-ups and stuff, because there is some stuff that we need to do. I'm basically at the point in the video where I've assembled everything, and then it goes to, like, you know, the crazy music and stuff, and the smoke machine and all, and the big reveal. So we'll do that in a second. Let me drop the oil while the bike is still warm. I've got plans to go riding tomorrow with Matt from Garage MC. He's pretty local to me, and he's been inviting me to ride for a while, and I'm taking him up on it this time. So we'll get this oil all freshened up. Oh shit. Oh yeah, that's good and black. Definitely time to change it out. Ooh, man, look at that. That is definitely overdue. My poor baby. I really love this bike, man. I've been enjoying the shit out of that thing. I got to take care of it. Definitely long overdue, but anyways, we've got some work I want to do on the Z400. Nothing crazy. I'm going to just do some close shots for you guys. I'm going to try not to pan out too much to give you guys the full experience, because like I said, that's kind of special. Oh, dude, it just looks awesome. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. When I finished it last night, like got it into the position that it is right now, I literally just stepped back, and like even I was just kind of like, wow, man, it came out exactly the way that I want it to. Like compared to the rendering, I think it's pretty close. There's a couple little things, like if you look back here at this caliper, I've got a regular hardware store banjo bolt right here. Well, not hardware store. It's actually one of the Chinese ones, but I've got a whole shitload of those that I ordered. I want to put the OEM one in there though. I don't know what happened. I just can't find the OEM one. There's an OEM one up here. I don't know if you guys can see, but it says 7P on it. So I have one of those coming in the mail right now. That's just kind of in place so that I could finish it up. I still have to adjust the parking brake. We'll adjust the chain real quick. Got that OEM chain on there, man. That thing is super greasy. I've got to tighten the axle nuts. If you come over to the lug nuts, I haven't tightened them down. You can see I need to put the cotter pin in there. Just little stuff like that. Same thing in the front. I don't have a cotter pin on the front spindle. And I've got to adjust the steering. So if you look at like the jam nuts on there, that still needs to be adjusted. I've actually got it pretty close, but yeah, I'll mess with that. The suspension I already have adjusted. I measured the springs, made them the stock compression, or I guess you would call that compression. And then I adjusted the compression and rebound on all the shocks. They're all set to factory. Oh man, got the aftermarket ball joints worked out really well. Super clean. There were a couple issues. If you noticed, we got a drippy. So what happened was the drain bolt on the bottom of the oil tank, I noticed when I was putting it in there, it won't take the OEM bolt. It was upsized to an American. I think it was was it a 5/16 or 3/8? I forget, but probably at one point in time that was stripped out and somebody just drilled it and upsized it. And I just had a feeling it was going to leak. So I'm going to have to pull that back out and make sure that doesn't leak if I have to change the gasket or something. Very small issue though. If you look at the weld, it's had oil in it for 2 days and I still don't see anything. And yes, it has been running. And I noticed, so I don't think we're going to get any leaks down there is what I'm trying to say. But I noticed in the video, you'll see it, there's like a drip that came out of here. And I have no idea where it came from. It looked like it came from the seam, like from the outside of the head gasket, and I'm like, dude, what a weird spot. I just noticed something that is quite concerning, disturbing actually. What the hell is that? That looks like coolant. But that is such a weird spot. That would be a really weird spot to get a coolant leak. It scared the hell out of me, but I cleaned it off and it doesn't seem to be leaking. So I'm guessing, and the coolant level has not changed. I think that it was just like a ghost drop that I either didn't notice or whatever. But I'll tell you what, man, seeing that drip there and getting the thought that it was leaking from the head gasket, I was like, oh man. But I think we actually are good. All of our wires are in place. I'll show you under the seat. Under the seat is like, to me, I feel like the guys that are really, come on, bastard, really into like super OEM stuff and making stuff really nice. This thing is, there we go. It's like candy looking under here, man. Look at this. All this stuff is OEM. We got the OEM clips, OEM screw there, the OEM washer, OEM air duct. All these are OEM new bushings. OEM clips down here, brand new OEM. The airbox was the original. This was a replaced OEM cover. The battery is a lithium ion, so that's not OEM, but we saved a little bit of weight there, and it looks exactly like OEM, so I was cool with that. Got the, this is vapor blasted by Moto Blast. That's the original battery stay. These bolts are actually from the 05. If you look there, they're like not perfect. I actually have new ones coming in the mail, so I will be swapping those out. All the wires are routed just like factory. Got the tool kit back there, man. It's like silly little stuff like that. I just think it's so cool. And then the controls and everything came out really nice. All this stuff is loose. I don't know if you'd really be able to see, but it's like semi-tight, but it moves. So I have to adjust all the controls, make that stuff perfect. That's basically what I'm gonna be doing today. I'm not gonna be doing all of that on the video. I think we'll just adjust the chain because I have to get back to working on this so that I can get the finale video out for you guys. But I know, I've seen in the comments that people really like these update videos. So I do like to give, you know, my super extra followers on the extra channel a little bit of a sneak peek, and hopefully not like a total spoiler alert. Oh, you know the other thing I did? I put an XFR skid plate on here. This was in none of my videos. I've had that sitting in a box, actually, like in the main hallway for quite some time. I feel like an aluminum skid plate would be a nice thing that a dealer mod would do, or dealer modification. And I did not want to run the belly skid. Aluminum skid plates really kind of annoy me. They usually rattle and stuff, and they catch a lot of dirt. So there's a little belly skid right here. I put that in the first part of the finale, and I have the plastic one that goes under here also. I just haven't put that on yet. I think that's actually the last piece. Jeb the carburetor up one size for our pipe. And you know what, man? What the hell? Oh, and you know what's weird too? I think this ignition is actually, it's either on its way out or it just needs to be turned on and off like a million times, because of course it worked that time. It's been getting better. I noticed sometimes the light doesn't come on, and if you jiggle the key, then it works. So it's a sealed unit. I don't know if I could pull that apart and clean the contacts, or if I should just replace the ignition. It's the original ignition that was on the 03. Now it'd suck if the ignition stopped us from, you know, getting this thing to run. So check this out. Oh, gotta hold the clutch. Might have to give it just a little bit of gas. Kind of tough with the camera here. I haven't adjusted the idle or anything. And I don't even know if the transmission works. That's about as far out as you guys are gonna see for the grand scope of what this thing looks like. All right, that's it. That's all you get. But it sounds really good, and I'm just very, very, very excited about this thing, dude. This is Z400 is a childhood dream quad, man. I can't wait to share this with you guys. So let's go ahead and we'll adjust the chain. Hopefully it doesn't start raining here, but pretty simple system. They've got the single bolt back here, and you can see it's got elongated holes. In 2003, there were 2 holes and 2 screws, and I think that was an issue because if they weren't like perfectly adjusted, the carrier would be cockeyed one way or the other. So this 2003 one, I think actually I will have to tighten this, and it should pull the whole carrier back. And it's like slotted on this whole rear plate, so it can't shift left and right, in theory anyways. And as we tighten this, it should be sliding. I don't know if you guys can see the gaps are getting a little bit smaller. Tightening up that chain. I'm not gonna go crazy making this like super perfect because the chain's probably gonna stretch a little bit. Right, like that feels fine. And then all we have to do is tighten these down. And these go to 75 foot-pounds, all 4 of them. This was an easy thing to do, but there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes when I do these builds. Just like little adjustments and stuff like that. I've got to bleed the brakes. That's usually a pain in the ass. Just stuff like that that I do. None of this will be in the finale video. If I actually showed doing all of the little work that you need to do, the videos in the series would be, you'd never be done watching Z400 footage, or any of the footage for that matter. Oh, what the f is wrong with this thing, man? That torque wrench does this thing where if you press one of the buttons on there, it like zeroes out and just blinks. And there's like nothing you can do to fix it short of just letting it time out. Even if you pull the batteries out, I don't know why that is. It's super annoying. So we'll just use the bigger torque wrench, which will make it easier anyways. 72.5 is crazy. And one other thing we can do is adjust the levers. Oh, dude, we have no brakes. I guess it goes into first gear. That's a good thing. But yeah, so this is the first time ever sitting on this thing. I'm not even, the guys in the that just watched the main video won't really get to see this. So if you've ever actually done a restoration, man, the first time you sit on the machine is really, it's a big moment, man. Like, you spend all this time doing the work, and then finally to actually get to sit on it, it makes it a reality. Especially something like this, because this is one of my childhood dream quads, man. A lot of Suzukis, if the guys that have been following the channel for a while, Suzukis are like one of my favorite of all time, because we had a local Suzuki dealer. It was Suzuki, KTM, and Polaris. And I just remember going over there as a kid, and man, I always wanted them. I actually have right on the side, I'll show you guys in a second, but I have the Z100. It's the bike that I learned on. It was a neighbor's bike, and I bought it from them last summer. It's the actual bike that I learned on. Here's that Suzuki, little Z100, the small version. It's not even the L. We took this out last weekend, and it was super fun, dude. I've never actually like ripped this thing. You know, I learned clutch on it, and as a kid, you know, I would barely drive it, but really, really cool, man. That is the actual machine that I learned clutch on, and I did make a video on this when I first bought it. It was I think it was last summer, and then I was supposed to ride it out at the Brewers, and I never did it. So I might put that video up and have the little ride that I did last week as the riding portion of it, but just pretty cool. Anyways, that came from that dealer. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and adjust the levers. I looked in the manual and kind of to get an idea of where they sit from the factory, and I'm setting them just like that. Not just going to like where it's comfy for me. I want it to be the way that the manual, or the way that it was set up from the factory, because I'm freaking weird, and I want it to be just like it was. That's okay though. Controls are all set, and then I've got these are the OEM zip ties. Or I don't even know if these would be called zip ties. They go on the bars on either side. And there's one other thing I wanted to show you guys. I noticed in the comments, there were a couple people, if you guys remember in the original rendering, I talked about putting the KFX 400 front, I guess, cover, hood. It's not really anything but a fascia. It just kind of separated the Kawasaki from the Suzuki, and I thought it might kind of make it look like the original LT250R, because they had that blue hood. So I do have a brand new one right here from Partzilla, and I just basically, I nixed it. I just don't think it pops the way that, it didn't have the look that I wanted. You have to drill holes in the fender to mount that up in the front. And of course we would do the black crossbar. That would make it look a little bit better. But I don't know. I really, it's supposed to be a retro theme that they would have in 2003. But it still has to have the Z400 roots as well. So I think with the color scheme and stuff, and the heel guards, we kind of nailed the retro look. And then the front, just all yellow, is so Z400. So I think the two of those mixed together is just right. I don't know. I didn't like the look of this, so we're just not gonna run it. And luckily, I can send this back to Partzilla, because that's a brand new cover. Believe it or not, the cover was only like 42 bucks. So it didn't even make sense to get a used one. I was basically gonna paint this in the same color that the frame is, but yeah, I don't wanna wear it. All right guys, well, I am feeling some raindrops. It's looking kind of gloomy up there. So I wanna get this thing inside. If there's any machine that I don't wanna get wet, it's this freaking Z400, and I wanna finish up my oil change here. I will be selling the trailer, just in like update stuff. That trailer has been awesome. And if you guys saw the series on that, a lot of people really enjoyed the series. It's just overkill, man. I never use the air conditioner. I never use the heater. The lights in there are freaking awesome, but it's an 8.5 by 20. It's just too big for what I need. Every time that I've used it, I'm going and I'm bringing like 1 or 2 quads, and you can fit literally 5 quads in that thing. It's just way too big, and it's heavy. Great trailer. It's just, you know, I get bad fuel economy with it, and I don't like driving with a big trailer on the back. So I've decided I'm going to get a smaller trailer. So I'll be selling that one, and hopefully I can do that in the next week, because I'll be taking this thing out to Badlands. Badlands is out in Attica, Indiana. They had the Badlands Bash last year, and they're doing the same thing again this year. I'll be there with a couple other creators, and I think I'll be running the Serpentine belt. Last year they called it Beat Pete, and Pete Hager went through with his Raptor 700, set a time, and everybody was trying to beat that on their quads. It was really, really fun. It's just an awesome event. So it's Saturday, June 8th. I will be there. I'll have the Z400, I'll have the KX 250, and I will also have the Tri-Z 250. Power Sports Nation will be there. It's going to be a really good time, so definitely come out there. If you say like in the comments like, hey Mike, is it cool if I come, or like I'm going to be there, absolutely, man. Everybody is welcome to come. Doesn't matter what you're riding. Everybody's welcome to come. And if you say, you know, like, oh, will you say hi to me or something? Dude, I probably won't see your message here, but do not be afraid to come up to me. If you see me there, I might be all over the place, man. Sometimes, like last year, it was crazy, all the amount of people that I was meeting. It was freaking awesome, but do not be afraid to come over, say hi. If I'm busy and you see the Z400 or any of my bikes, you're welcome to come over and check them out. Really look forward to meeting some of you guys. And I got to push this stuff in, and I got to get back to work on that finale video. Don't forget to check that out. It should be out, I want to say in 3 days, 2 days maybe. I don't like to overestimate, underestimate. I don't know. I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. I like to underpromise and overdeliver. But the finale video, you know, I like to make sure that's edited properly and everything. It's gotta be crispy, man. So make sure to check out the main channel, Michael Sabo. I will see you guys over there next. Peace out, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.